There we are. Hey, everybody. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I'm just going to push a couple buttons here and make sure everything's rolling in the way we want. Cool. Cool. I hope you all are doing well. It's been a little while since I've done a live. But today we're going to be talking about something that I wish somebody had told me about many, many years ago in the world of production and creating money. One of the issues that we have so often with production is how do we get money to pay for it? Or if you're in sound or if you're in post-production, where do I get money to pay for all the gear? And for me to get the money to pay for it, I have to have gear to do the work, to have the money to pay for the gear. And it's a cycle. And then some people just solve it with saying, oh, I'm just going to get a job and then keep putting money away and then keep building that nest egg until such time as I can buy some gear. But by the time we do that, the gear is usually outdated or it's more expensive or something else happens. And using, Robert Kiyosaki says this, stop paying for things with your own money. Use someone else's money. And again, I wish somebody had told me about this. And I'm going to explain kind of the overview of it, how it all kind of works. But this is something that businesses have been doing for, 100 years or more. And it is something that the elites do all the time. And it's something that now we can do. And I want to bring this to your attention. And if you want to talk more about how we get money from banks to pay for our productions and things like this, then please do so. Now, some of you have done corporate finance. Some of you have done financing for a film. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not actually talking about, pulling several $1,000,000 to buy a film. But I am talking about being able to pull $100,000 to pay for your equipment, to pay for maybe a teaser or a trailer, and maybe you pull that money out along with maybe a Kickstarter or something, some kind of crowdfund where you get both together and maybe get $250,000. You can do a lot of damage these days with $250,000 in a production that's a teaser or a trailer or a proof of concept. But also for those who are in post-production, who want to set up post-production, $100,000 is going to get you quite far in the world of buying gear and treating your room or whatever that is. So here's how this works. Let me grab this here, and I'm going to do a little of this. Hold on a second. Let me get this up there. Perfect. I'm going to hide that. All right. It's called corporate credit. And you may not have heard of this before, but what it basically is right now, because so few people are working, and it's really been going on for a while, but it's very difficult for the economy to keep going. We have to be able to create money in order to keep the economy going. We're so far in debt that nothing will make it work. So what the banks do is they try to loan money to people to buy a house or credit cards, but that's actually not enough to keep things going. Instead, they loan money to businesses. And businesses have a very special, unique credit reporting system called the Dun & Bradstreet system. Dun & Bradstreet. And you as a company get a Paydex score, P-A-Y-D-E-X score. And that score determines if you're a good risk to get money or not. Now some of you are like, well, I'm not a company. Yes, but you should be. And if you've done any production work at all, especially with SAG or any of the unions, it's now required that you are a production company before you can do any union hiring. DGA, DGA, SAG, AFM, that you have to have a production company. And a lot of people think all you got to do is set up an LLC. Well, that's partially true. But what you want to do in order to make this happen, to get banks to start to create corporate credit for you, so that you can borrow on a revolving $100,000 credit line, is do this. You want to set up a multi-member LLC, and that's down here. And that interacts with the real world in such a way and your productions so that if something were to happen and you got sued, the only assets that would be taken are the assets in your LLC. They can't come after you over here. So if something bad happened, you would only lose whatever's here. But we don't really want to deal with that or worry about that because we're going to be doing everything on the up and up, and it's production. Or it's your post-production business, or it's your sound business, or your wedding audio visual business. So what happens is we set up our LLC, multiple members, 2 minimum. We get an EIN number, not EIEIO, EIN number from the IRS, which gives us the ability to open a bank account and be registered with the IRS. And then we get a DUNS number through a government agency called sam.gov. And that you can get a DUNS number for free that way. Otherwise, it's like $400. Once you get that number, you can start building your corporate credit. Now, it takes some time, it takes months, just like your personal credit did. But you can do, and this was great, you can do this without having good personal credit. You can do this with bad personal credit. Now, it's easier if you have good personal credit. And in fact, if you have good personal credit and you set your company up just right, your LLC or your C Corp or your combo, you can actually walk into a bank, open a bank account, and as one of my clients did, walk out with $50,000 in revolving line of credit. And now you can take $25,000 of it out right now and buy gear or invest in crypto, which is, how many of you know that if you invested in Ethereum or Litecoin or Bitcoin or ADA or one of these other ones, or even bought NFTs with $25,000, that a year later you'll probably be up. Even if the loan that you're getting is 18%, you'll probably be up. We can talk about that in a different live. So you've got this corporate credit that you're building. And what's great about corporate credit is that and it's based on a corporation or your company, which means that you don't own any of it. You control all of it. And that means that the taxes and the deductions that are available to you in the company side are far, far more than they ever would be if they were just, on your social slave number down here, where you're getting taxed at 50% capital gains, you're getting taxed at 30% of your income. Whereas over here, in LLC and S Corp land, you're getting taxed at a maximum of 21.5%. So there's a tax benefit, there's an asset protection benefit, and there is the corporate credit benefit. There's other benefits too, we're not going to get into that because we want to focus on production. So today we want to talk about how we do this. And we set up a multi-member LLC, ideally that's owned by a C Corp, but we can talk about that later. Right now, if you just set up that multi-member LLC, and that's you and friends you trust. You set up a bank account because you got an EIN, you go to sam.gov, you get a DUNS number, and then you go to the level 1 creditors. Level 1 creditors are people that will give you credit without any business history, without a good paydex score, without a personal guarantee. That means that you can get, I don't know, maybe up to $100,000 in credit. What's happening here? Stop this. Oh, that is annoying. Woo. Okay, super annoying. You can get about $100,000 in credit from these various vendors, and if worse came to worse, something bad happened, you could bankrupt your company and not have to pay any of them back, and it would not reflect upon you. You shouldn't do that, that's unethical, but that's what's available if something could go bad, so it reduces your risk. Level 2 creditors, you can get out to low 6 figures. Level 3 creditors are where you're going to be getting your real credit cards, and you can take cash advances and do that against your gear. Now let's just take a look at the situation around your gear. Gear is depreciating items, right? You buy a new car, or you buy a mixer, or you buy a camera, you buy a lens, you buy whatever, and it depreciates. It doesn't appreciate. In fact, the only car that I know that appreciates on the whole is not a car, it's a motorcycle, and it's a Harley Davidson, believe it or not. So it appreciates, but most things depreciate. So when we're buying these things, we really don't want to have to spend our own money because we're just kind of wasting it. Although those items can make us more money if we go get gigs, or if you're a wedding videographer, you buy microphones and cameras and editing equipment and all that, and that pays for itself as you make money. But business knows that business needs to get loans up front, small business loans, to be able to pay for the business upstart expense, gear, legal, whatever. With corporate credit, they're usually very happy to give you a loan that's at a really good interest rate. And if you know that you can make more money than the interest rate of the loan, then you're laughing because you didn't have to use any of your own capital. You could use the bank capital to pay for the gear, pay for the room, pay for the whatever, at an interest rate that you know you can keep up with, and then ultimately pay off. Better than that is if you can get enough credit to not only pay for your gear, but then also get investment money that then you could go turn and put into an investment that you know will also do better than their interest rate, and whether that's in crypto or stocks or options, and we're not going to talk about that. But that's available right here. We talk about that in all kinds of other videos, but That's what's available on the production side. And then, of course, once you have your LLC set up, then you are available for SAG, DGA, AFM to accept you as a legitimate production company. And at that point, it's a very easy amount of paperwork to jump in and do. Unfortunately, with SAG, last time I checked, you have to re-verify your company every year. It used to be that once you verified it once, that was it. Now you got to do it every year. But the value in being able to take money from banks because you have a good Paydex score and no personal guarantee is so powerful, because now someone else is paying for your gear and you're paying for, or paying for your parts of your production, and you're paying a very small interest fee for the privilege, which is super, super great. So hopefully this makes sense to you. If you want to know more about how this works, drop me a line, let me know, and I'll be happy to talk more with you about it. I'm going to be doing some more lives specifically around how to build corporate credit here on this channel for those of you who want to learn more about this. I know this is a sound channel, but this is really a production channel for getting your productions great. And if you didn't have to pay for the majority of your productions or your business, that would be great too. And banks are set up to support small business. Hopefully this has been valuable to you, and come visit us at cinemasound.com, where we've got hundreds and hundreds of videos on how to get that Hollywood level $5 million audience impact into your productions using sound, the most immersive element of your production. And then of course, subscribe to us here on the website, here at YouTube, and get, I don't know, what do we got now? 500 videos here for the same thing, showing you how to do it. And right now we're having an Adobe showdown with DaVinci Resolve in the audio department on the Fairlight page of Resolve, and then of course an audio for Premiere, where we're seeing which which NLE does better in what areas. So it's very exciting. We're getting lots of great responses from everybody. Looking forward to seeing you there. If not, we'll see you in post.